As you can tell by now, I really don't like being pushed around. I'm tired of being in a place filled with bullies. I was bullied, I've been a bully, and a lot of this stems from the psychological disruption that we place on children in the system of bullying, or at least the force that makes mandatory what we call schooling. The public school system is a dangerous place, and there are a lot of fundamental problems with it. One, living in a free country, it is a perversion and distortion of reality to bind someone to a place when they are taught that they are free. If you cannot walk away, then you are not free. And all of this is done by force and coercion, and that's wrong. Also, living in this society of capitalism, we have a doctrine of payment for work, which is being molested in the school environment, because I did schoolwork and I did homework, and yes, it is work. All training and all practice is work. Don't tell me the boxer every day in the gym is not working, because the only work he does when he is in the ring during a prize fight. This is all work, and no one can demand work for you, or should I say from you, without payment. And so if children are to be forced to work, which is also a contradiction because we don't believe in child labor, which is tantamount to slave labor, we do hold children in a building that is essentially a prison with privileges to leave every day for a time. And a lot of that is due to the system not wanting to have to feed you all of the time, clothe you all of the time, pay for your boarding all of the time. And so your parents are straddled with that burden, yet the system is gaining from your work. In a sense, it is quite fascist, but I have solutions for these problems. One solution is to make school non-coercive, non-mandatory. If you wish to learn, you may learn. And every opportunity should be proselytized and promoted, and education should be a dream that people want to aspire to achieve. This can be done by having the funds that are stolen from us, having those taxed funds go towards an education system that is more benevolent. And there's no reason why a computer database of every single topic in all curriculums is not accessible at all times for free, like the public library. It is also not unreasonable to have testing facilities that children can walk into at any given time and test up and test out of certain grades, certain credentials, certain things that will allow them the credibility to succeed in this society. Now, I'm not saying that people do not benefit from the traditional educational system. Some people do. But it isn't made for everyone. One size doesn't fit all. And in kindergarten, we know when you try to shove a square block in a round hole, it does not fit. It is frustrating. It's not going to work. And for those people, they need space to exit that program. One thing that would make that program better would be to pay children. Children have wants, children have desires, and if you are going to train them properly to engage in this system and engage in this society, you need to train for the specific behaviors of the task. A boxer will jump rope to increase their stamina, hit a speed bag so that they can increase dexterity, hit a hard punching bag to increase their strength of impact. These are very specific skills for training, and they have a reward in the outcomes. The outcome in our society is financial payment, financial gain. Therefore, all work should have some sort of outcome that resembles that. Now, you could say that they don't produce enough to earn a lot, but what they're doing is something, and that something should add up. And those additions that make the sum should be something worthwhile. Now, how we can do this, if the government wishes not to pay, is I would implore corporations to sponsor children, to have advertising in school, do whatever insidious thing you do with your marketing, target all the children, but fund them with gifts. We all know you're making products at low cost and you sell them to public at high cost. If you were to sell them to the government, to give them to us, it would be at an even higher cost. You can cut out all of the middleman and send it directly to the children from the manufacturer and reward someone like a valedictorian, a car, an apartment, a college education. Have a course of action so people can see a plan and manage their way to success. All sorts of things. You could hand out gift certificates to restaurants, to movie theaters, games, whatever the case may be. Something that inspires children to work hard. You need to game it. You just look at these games. It's all about souping up your gear, souping up your equipment, making everything better, making your character a hero. We can do that with education. If you show that there is a benefit to the mastery of knowledge, people will try to become a mage. They will try to become a battle master. They'll try to become whatever cliche of a video game, some sort of superhero, some sort of soldier with all the guns and all the equipment and all the things. People like accumulating stuff, adding stuff up, improving things, refining things. We need to add that to the education system so that there actually is something to work for. When I was a child in the first grade, a sleazy salesman came to town and he had a presentation at our school. This man had a long line of dollar bills seemingly taped together. And he asked everyone in the auditorium, "Do you like the color green? Do you like the color green?" And all the kids didn't know what to think of it. What do you think about the color green when you're so young? But he goes on, vegetables, broccoli, and all the kids start saying, boo, boo. But then he says, "Do you like money?" And everybody says, "Yeah." And he rolls this green carpet of dollar bills out on the floor and enters into his spiel about how we can sell chocolate. I was so impressed that I went home, I broke open my piggy bank, and I taped all of my dollar bills together. When my mother found this, she asked me what I was doing and made me cut them apart. Now, I was so invigorated by being successful, being this champion on the stage that had mastered the money and had taught me this program, that I was going to win. And so I went out into the neighborhood in the inner city and risked my skin carrying this large case of chocolates, and they were selling for $2 a piece. And that was extremely expensive, but we had to convince everybody it was for charity. At the time, at the A&P, you could get 3 full-size candy bars for 99 cents. So I marched those streets, and I sold more chocolate than anyone in the school. And I did this because when looking at the prizes, I chose prize number 4. It was some weird camera with 4 lenses, and it took 4 pictures at once. And that's what I really wanted. And first prize was someone was going to be picked up from school in a limousine and taken out to lunch to anywhere they wanted. I didn't want that prize. That did not excite me. I wanted the camera. But I listened to my mother, and I listened to the man on the stage, and I followed the program, and I won. I got the first prize. And to my disappointment, I was picked up by a dirty Buick. And I had asked my mother, where should I go? And she told me to go to the prime rib and order surf and turf. They took me to McDonald's. When I protested, after telling them that I wanted the surf and turf, that I wanted to go to the prime rib, that this was not a limousine, they did not care. They got me a Happy Meal, and they took me back to school. I was so disturbed by this system, by the way that it operated and how these so-called adults behaved, that the next year they gave me ample chocolates on consignment because I was such a successful seller. I'd been pimped out by this program, and I was profitable. And to their surprise, I took 3 cases of this chocolate, sold half of it, kept the profits, and ate the other half with my friends, and told the school that I had been robbed. Because I had been robbed, and what they were doing was wrong. You should not be exploiting children, using children to sell your candies, to sell your wrapping paper. It's disgusting. I was suspended in the 2nd grade for reselling baseball cards in the lobby. When it came to profiting myself, I was restricted and I was punished. But when these schemers ripped me off, nothing happened to them of any consequence. 3 boxes of chocolate, what a joke. I imagine their syndicate was in schools all across the country. We must pay more attention to our children. We must stop this separation of families from their children for such a long period of time for the progress of work. It's becoming far too fascist, and the community is falling apart. Another thing I see that is very disturbing is the natural order is being ignored. There is a way, and there is a purpose to life, and the elderly should be teaching the children, as it always has been. In their later years of infirmity, they have the wisdom and the time to help and teach the children from their sage wisdom, while the able-bodied, middle-aged are out gathering resources for the community. This is the way, this is the system, but we have replaced it with a perversion that in essence only teaches discipline and obedience.